The Dodgers are pushed to the brink of elimination by the team with the lowest payroll in the NL West. National scribes continue to pile on undefeated USC, and the Rams finally get a breather in the NFL schedule. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So it is October 10th, 2023. It is an absolutely lovely day, which I plan on spending with my absolutely lovely wife. But before we do, let's chat up LA sports. If you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button, clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and comment, because I try to get back to every last one of you. And by the way, we added a new subscriber to the Angeleno Familia yesterday. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. So before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. JD Martinez hit a solo home run, but the Diamondbacks pounced on LA starter Bobby Miller. Arizona 4, Dodgers 2. Arizona leads the best of 5 series 2-0. Now the Dodgers, we strive for honesty here. They've looked limp, straight up. Damn near helpless. Again. You might recall how in last year's playoffs, the so-called greatest lineup in baseball histoire, how they face-planted. Yeah, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are a combined 1 for 13 this year in the playoffs. Dodgers starting pitchers have combined for 6 outs. Now, I will be honest with you, Bobby Miller didn't get his head kicked nearly as bad as Clayton Kershaw, so baby steps, am I right? But I tell you something, if you look at the Dodgers, they literally look at that like that meme where a stick figure is poking the Dodgers logo with a stick, begging for it to do something. Now, Dave Roberts admits that the Dodgers have to make adjustments. That's an understatement. That's a bit of an understatement. Now, to be clear, I don't think the Dodgers are dead. But we talked about this yesterday, that the team, if a road team in baseball starts a playoff series and wins those first 2 games on the road, they have won the series 28 out of 31 times. So LA is damn sure behind the 8 ball. Now, Lance Lynn is going to be the Game 3 starter, but he led the major leagues in home runs allowed, and he's going to one of the most home run friendly parks in all of professional sports. Chase Field gives up a ton of home runs. If the Dodgers lose Wednesday, I would argue that this would be even worse than losing to Slum Diego last year. For one, the Padres targeted LA. You remember at the trading deadline in 2022, they went out and they just added star after star after star at the trade deadline. Arizona didn't do that. They've just been building through the minors. They haven't even reached their full potential yet. 2, if Arizona does win on Wednesday, that would mean the Dodgers have lost 6 consecutive playoff games and were swept this year. Even Slime Diego didn't do that. So give the Diamondbacks credit, at least for now, especially if they don't have a bunch of middle-aged Diamondback fans trying to freestyle rap down the streets of Phoenix. Nobody needs a repeat of that anymore. Keep that part zipped. Meanwhile, today there are no games involving LA teams. Take a moment, find a pretty girl, stare at her, try not to get arrested for said staring. CBSSports.com has noted that the Pac-12 football season is basically halfway over, and they've issued grades for all the teams, which is kind of odd because the conference is dying. What in the hell is wrong with the scribes continuing to go over the Pac-12 conference as they are lying on their deathbed and judging? How do you want to be judged when you haven't even died yet? You're there lying on your deathbed, listening to that little machine in the corner just beep, beep, beeping what's left of your life away, watching your clotted blood just go down your blue vein, and then your 5th grade teacher comes in with a pop algebra quiz. How is that fair? I mean, life is just literally judging you until the moment you die? What the hell? Give me a break on something, for Pete's sakes. Anyway, back to the point. UCLA even got a better grade than USC. USC, they had one of the lowest grades that the scribes gave out, and I'm starting to wonder, and I'm not trying to clown UCLA, we'll get to UCLA in a moment. I'm still believing that we are building a case here where the national scribes are just flat out clowning Lincoln Riley. Because the Trojans haven't lost yet. And yet they got a C. A C. Now, again, I don't have much of a problem with the Bruins getting a better grade, even though they have lost. Not at all. The Bruins got a B+. The Bruins have a long-term quarterback. The Bruins have a damn good defense to bail out said quarterback until he becomes a better quarterback. There's nothing wrong with what UCLA has right now. The Trojans, meanwhile, are all offense, no defense. And I get it. You know it. I know it. We all know it. I'm not saying the Trojans are going to win the national title. I'm saying they've won all 6 games, that they're averaging over 50 points per game. Do we really think that team deserves a C? Do they really? Meanwhile, Pro Football Focus, or POOF, listed 4 Bruins on its national team of the week. Now, all 4 of them play on the line, 2 on offense, 2 on defense. Leatu, and Gabriel Murphy on the defensive side. The offensive side is rather curious in the sense that one is named Duke Clemens, which is let's be real. If we could all go to the courthouse and change our names legally, wouldn't Duke Clemens be super high on the list? And the other is named Spencer Holstedge. Duke Clemens, Spencer Holstedge. Now look, don't get me wrong. I've never met Spencer Holstedge. I'm sure he could stomp my ass out in like 10 seconds, right? Spencer Holstedge, but if you have Duke Clemens, you don't want to mess with a Duke Clemens. You believe, I would wager that the reason Spencer Holstedge is now such a badass is because he had his lunch money taken all the way through the 4th grade, said bleep this, and went to the weight room. Spencer Holstedge, I hope you have a long, glorious life. But I'm telling you, man, that name, Spencer Holstedge, I hate saying it. Now, I've been trying to get a grip on the Bruins defensive scheme, and while I don't know it completely, Leatu and Murphy, they get to the backfield in a lot of plays. They're terrific. Leatu forced a fumble with 3 tackles against Washington State, and he has 5 sacks overall on the year. Spencer Holstedge. Anyway, let's switch to USC. There may be a new wrinkle that defenses might be throwing at USC. This is according to The Athletic. Going into Saturday's game against Arizona, opposing defenses played man-to-man against the Trojans' receivers just 25% of the time. Now, USC was without speedster Zachariah Branch. Good luck trying to catch that guy one-on-one, right? So Arizona said to hell with it. They just gambled on going man-to-man. And as a result, Caleb Williams passed for the fewest yards in a game this year. Is this something that other teams are going to take notice until the Trojans can get Zachariah Branch out on the field on a regular basis? Just asking. The Rams have a blessing. Their schedule now gets significantly easier after they play the Eagles on Sunday. The fact that the Rams started the season 2-3 against 4 playoff teams, including one that went to the Super Bowl, that is just remarkable with that roster. But having said that, while saying that the schedule gets easier is a blessing, they also have a bit of a curse. They are not making second half adjustments on offense. Matthew Stafford's second half quarterback rating is tied for last in the league at 60.7. He's thrown 1 touchdown and 4 picks. He personally is tied for Dallas with that second half quarterback rating. If you're talking about individual quarterbacks, Dak Prescott is actually worse than Matthew Stafford. But that's still nothing to hang your hat on being just a little bit better than Dak Prescott. The Rams were shut out in the second half by Philly. The Rams have been outscored by everybody in the second half this year, except for that season opening game against Seattle. Now, this is important to bring up. The Rams defense on Sunday, for example, allowed just 23 points. Anything from the Rams on offense in the second half, and they would have been in position for the upset. So that's something to consider. The Kings had to make final roster decisions Monday afternoon. Alex Laferriere made a good enough impression with 3 goals in the preseason and made the team, at least for 2 games. Remember, they had a spot open because Arthur Kaliev was suspended. And there's another oddity with the Kings. They decided to build a roster with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen, which means somebody is going to have to do double duty on the 4th line, at least at the start of the year. Yesterday, I started to write the obituary for the LA Galaxy since they were eliminated from MLS playoff contention on Saturday. Included yesterday, I did a little bit of brainstorming where I thought manager Greg Vanney, since he runs all of soccer operations now, why he might be better served by promoting himself to general manager and then hiring his own manager as a replacement. Which I get is a little odd, but it would simultaneously enable Vanney to keep the power that he gained in the organization, while it would also allow him to build a team in his image, but not get overloaded with too many responsibilities, because that was one of the major problems with Chris Klein's presidency of the franchise. What type of team could the Galaxy field? Now, I'm not going to BS you and start throwing out names. We don't want to get into rumors here at Faithful Angelenos. But Transfer Market lists as many as 17 players on the roster who might not return next year due to either contracts or loans that are expiring. That includes designated players Chicharito and Douglas Costa. Now, non-DP players who might need a job next year include Tyler Boyd, Martin Caceres, and Caligari. Considering how important it is for LA to nail this offseason, you could easily imagine the Galaxy saying, why are we paying overboard on these DPs and letting both Costa and Chicha Hernandez go? I would even argue they would damn near let everybody else on that roster go as well. If it were me, just to spitball right now, the only ones that I would prefer to keep would be Boyd and Caligari. Pretty much that's it. To me, if the Galaxy take those 2 DP spots and give Ricky Puig 2 offensive players to work with, say a striker and a swift wing, and you line that one swift wing up on the opposite side of Tyler Boyd, they would crush offensively. Now, that's just my guess, but I think I'm right. Yesterday, we also mentioned who scored the game-winning goal to keep Angel City FC alive in the NWSL playoff chase. The first of 2 goals, though, was scored by Alyssa Thompson. That was her 4th of the year. The reason that matters is because unlike MLS is considered like a golden parachute league for a lot of the older players. A lot of older players have come to MLS to get that one last fat contract. Steven Gerrard. You would even argue Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You could damn sure say that about Lionel Messi. But the NWSL has a bunch of younger players who are thriving. Thompson's goal was the 13th goal scored by players aged either 18 or younger this year. That is a league record. 18 or younger. So yes, I'm going to address the creepos out there. Alyssa Thompson is legal. She has 4 goals. She's 18. Try to be polite when you reach out to her. Try not to slide into her DMs, you bunch of weirdos. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Tell me if you anticipate a Dodgers rally, and if so, how? Tell me if you think that UCLA has a just grade at B+, and if USC is getting hosed at C. And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.